No human eyes have seen this since 1912. The state of preservation is uncanny. It really is. I mean, now I feel like the archaeologists that found King Tut's tomb.
Two and a half miles down on the bottom of the Atlantic lies what's left of the world's most famous ship. Since it was discovered 20 years ago, the Titanic's hulk has been giving up its secrets. More is known about this ship and the 1,521 people who died on her maiden voyage than any other maritime disaster.
John Jacob Astor put Madeline Astor into the lifeboat right through one of those windows right there.
The Titanic is tales of heroes and cowards, of greed and generosity, of astounding bad luck and incredible good fortune. It's an epic story that became one of the most successful feature films of all time. But now the Titanic is fading. The sea is claiming her remains.
Titanic is going away. It's corroding as a result of Mother Nature. So we want to get in there and take a look at what is contained within Titanic before she's lost forever.
The man who made the movie, James Cameron, is bewitched by this ship.
Unbelievable.
Diving more than 30 times to explore her remains. Now Cameron, supported by the Discovery Channel, is going back to the Titanic for the final time.
I'm going to kind of wrap up my 10-year odyssey with Titanic with this expedition. I won't be coming back here, so.
He's taking an amazing high-tech expedition to find more of Titanic's lost treasures.
Oh, say it's not the clock. Say it is not the clock on the mantle. Oh my God.
And trying to uncover her last mysteries. "350 miles out into the North Atlantic from Newfoundland lies the prize. 35 hours steaming aboard the Russian ship Keldysh. She is the world's biggest research vessel and the mothership for the Mirs, two ultra-deep diving submarines which will take Cameron 12,500 feet down to the wreck. It's a familiar routine for him.
See you in the sunshine.
Can you switch on path number 2? Yes, I can. I'll give you camera 1. Yep, there it is.
The approach to this expedition is entirely new. The aim is the ultimate high-tech investigation of Titanic. Cameron uses the three-man Mirs as his deep water exploration platforms.
Okay, we're in.
At the wreck, the Mirs launch a fleet of remotely operated camera vehicles, or bots. The bots are like roving eyes. Their only attachment is a fishing line-like optic fiber, which carries camera pics and control signals from the Mirs. For this trip, Cameron and Discovery have created new mini-bots, smaller than anything he has been able to use before. The aim is to penetrate deeper into the wreck than has ever been possible. Perhaps even as far as the legendary Turkish baths, a symbol of Titanic's extraordinary luxury and not seen for more than 90 years. Cameron also hopes to answer questions about a fire that raged in the Titanic's boiler room during most of the maiden voyage, which may have weakened the ship's watertight bulkheads and made it sink faster. Previously, he's only been able to explore with the people he can fit into the Mirs and minimal underwater communications, which through 2.5 miles of water is worse than bad cell phone coverage.
A is 15. Tell them we're not reading them very clearly.
Now, for the first time, he plans to explore inside Titanic with live sound and video links back to a mission control room on board the Keldysh. He wants visual communication with his backup team of experts via a 13,000-foot-long optic fiber link.
Neil, you copy. Mission control, you copy? Guys?
We've got you.
All right, I'm going to need you on live.
Absolutely. Looks incredible.
Outstanding, outstanding.
A team of experts has been assembled to literally try to look over Cameron's shoulder as he ventures deep into the heart of the wreck. This lineup includes Ken Marshall, who's made a 40-year study of Titanic structure and will help guide Jim through the maze.
C55 and 57 in both portholes have a real high degree of clarity.
Don Lynch, a historian who knows the personal stories of the Titanic passengers.
Colonel Gracie is there, who was like everywhere throughout the whole sinking. He was heroic in that way. I mean, he one of those personalities a lot of people didn't like, but he was everywhere at once and making sure every woman he saw got into a lifeboat.
Park Stevenson is an engineer who helps visualize Titanic's interiors.
Well, the Marconi apparatus was the ship's means of talking to the outside world.
And archaeologist Mike Arbuthnot, who's compiling the definitive Titanic database.
Approaching the wreck, it was just this monument just emerging out of the blue, and it was so massive, and it was interesting. It almost looked like a stone monument.
Exploration of Titanic over 20 years has helped build up a very clear idea of what happened on the night of April 14, 1912, when the unsinkable ship sank in less than 3 hours.
Iceberg, right ahead!
Titanic was racing through the night, full steam ahead. Her owners, White Star Line, were trying to make headlines with an exceptionally fast crossing, even though they had been warned about icebergs.
Hard to starboard! Hard to starboard! Hard to starboard eye!
When the fatal berg was first seen, Titanic was heading straight for it at nearly 25 miles per hour. The lookout's warning averted a head-on, but the 46,000-ton ship struck the iceberg a glancing blow. It was not a huge hole that started the Titanic sinking, but a series of splits in the steel plating that let in enough water to overwhelm the ship. Titanic was built with a series of watertight chambers. She was designed to survive the flooding of the 2 forward compartments or any 4 others. But the iceberg opened the front 5, and Titanic was doomed. As she went down by the bow, the nearly 900-foot-long ship broke its back. The bigger front section went down first, dragging the stern of the ship completely vertical, before tearing itself free and going down like a torpedo, ripping off most of the superstructure. It's estimated that during the free fall, the front of the ship picked up a speed of more than 20 knots, about the same speed as when Titanic hit the iceberg. The bow plowed into the ocean floor, embedding itself 62 feet. And it's here Cameron and his team will focus their exploration. He's got the experts, the technology, and one of the most experienced deep submersible crews in the world. Bits of the system have been tested separately, but it's never been assembled until now. No one knows whether it'll work. The first thing they must do is get down to the wreck and test the communications. It's a 2.5-hour descent Jim's done many times before, but never with a 15,000-foot tether of fiber optic cable. The cable from the sub joins one of the ship's inflatable boats, or ribs. The rib keeps lined up with the Keldysh and allows sound and picture from the sub to be transmitted back to mission control. To get pictures back from inside the Titanic, there are 3 separate links which all have to function at the same time. It will be a fantastic technical achievement, if it works. The piece that's never been fully tested is the fiber optic link from sub to surface. Making this work is an incredibly delicate operation, and it's risky. The fragile optic fiber is wrapped in a casing with a 500-pound breaking strain. It's a double-edged sword. The cable is weak enough to snap easily if the 18-ton sub jerks when it's taut. It's strong enough to completely foul up the sub's propulsion system, and it's long enough to get impossibly tangled if it's let out too quickly. After an hour's descent, 6,000 feet below the surface, the worst happens.
I believe we're fouled, guys. The cable looks like it's going up, but it could be looping